Welcome to our YouTube channel named as Cat2. I am by Manoj Mahajan. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not done yet, as we are coming up with Quantitative Aptitude full course relevant for CAT, ZAT, NMAT, SNAP, and OMETS. So today we're going to look at Successive Percentage 3 class. I hope by now you must have watched Successive Percentage 1, Successive Percentage 2. Even I've already uploaded the percentage videos on the channel. So do subscribe and do join the Cat2IM information group Telegram so that you receive latest information, motivational stuff, and free material for CAT and OMTs. Now let's look at a question over here which appeared in one of the CAT 2003. L over here means this question was the part of the league CAT paper. So yes, you heard it right. In the CAT 2003, the paper got leaked. So the paper was conducted again. So wherever you find the R letter in the bracket, that's a retest question. So now let's look over here. What is the problem and how we're going to make it easy. So if you look over here, go through the entire story, spend some time, and then check the solution. So what is given is at the end of year 1998, Shepherd bought 9 dozen goats. After that, he added P% of the goats at the beginning of the year and sold Q% of the goats at the end of the year, where both P and Q are positive numbers. What is given to us finally is he has again 9 dozen goats at the end of the year 2002 after making the sales for that year. So the question is, which of the following is true? So let me just tell you the story in this way now. So at the end of the year 1998, there were 9 dozen goats. So can I say at the beginning of 1999, again you would have what? 9 dozen goats because at the end there were 9 of 1998. So P% has been added over here. Q% has been sold out. So let's move to the next year now, that is 2000 beginning. Similarly, we are doing it for again the next year P% increase, Q% decrease. Let's move to the next year 2001. Similarly, if I do it again, P% increase, Q% decrease. Let's move to the year 2002. So we went till end of the year 2002. So this is actually the beginning, right? So let me add once more P% and then Q% decrease. So finally, 2003, if I look over here, beginning over here. So we had 9 in the beginning and 9 at the end. So first, I look at the mathematical way out, and then after that, we're going to look at the super trick shortcut. So remember that every aspirant should start looking at tricks and shortcut also because you're able to save time with it. So just let me know one thing over here from 9 to 9. What is the percentage change in total if I look? That is nothing but 0% because the initial value and the final value is what? Same. Now remember that every year you have the same change in percentage wise. So if I want the net change to be 0%, you have to understand that every year there would have been a 0% change. Because let's say if you pick up 5% change in the year 99 to 2000, then for the other years also you're going to have 5% over here and you cannot make it 0% net change. So the only value which we can figure out over here is for every year, there has to be a 0% change. So if you use the successive formula, which we have done in the successive percentage change one class also, what was that? A plus B plus AB by 100. So over here, my A is what P, let's say this is what Q. So this result should come out to be nothing but 0. So let me just rearrange and write over here to get the answer out here. So what do I get is P is equal to Q plus PQ by 100. Further, I can look forward to write like this. Q common if I take 1 plus P by 100. Ultimately, if I do it like this, I would be able to get the answer. So what is the final thing we have? Q multiplied with 100 plus P divided by P. So, sorry, this is not P, this is 100 over here. So just make sure that you write 100 over here. So this is the final thing what we are having over here. So you can understand that this Q is being multiplied with the number 100 plus P divided by 100, which is surely more than 1. So can I say if Q is a number multiplied with more than 1, of course my value of P is going to be more than Q, which is your option number 3 out here. So of course we did this with the mathematical approach, but now I'm going to teach you the super trick shortcut so that you can look forward to do this question with ease. So let's get back to the trick shortcut over here. See, it is not necessary that you pick the number of goats as 9 dozen. You can pick up some other number also of your choice where the calculation would be a little easy for you. So my approach over here for the trick which I'm going to teach you over here is I'm going to use values. And remember, whenever we use values, always look forward to eliminate the choices. So why elimination? Because let's say with one value it is not satisfying, we can look forward to eliminate. But with one value, if it is satisfying, that does not mean that for all the values it has to satisfy. So the best approach is use values over here, do the elimination. So what I'm doing is, let's say in 1999 and 2000, if I look over here. So of course, if I use the original data, this is 9, 0% change. This also should be 9. But we're going to make it easy for calculation. So let's say 100 boards we have over here, 100 over here again. So let me just look at the trick out here. So you can pick up any number of your choice, the value of P. I'm just assuming, let's say 20%. So let's say if 20% increase is there, one example I'm picking up, you can choose some other values also. So what do I have is 20% hike if I do, or the increase, the value would become 120. Now finally I want 100 over here. So let's do a quick calculation. 20 change on what? 120 into 100. So in percentage wise, if I look 16.66%. So the decrease over here is what? 16.66%. So in this example, I got the value of Q as 16.66%. As I assumed P to be 20%. So that was the assumption. You can assume any other value also. So what is Q? 16.66% out here. So if I go with the approach values and elimination, yes, I can look forward to do it. So P is equal to Q. In this case, no. So I can, of course, rule it out. P less than Q, of course not. I can rule it out. Yes, P is more than Q, but don't straight away mark the answer. Always use values, do the elimination. Because at one value, if you're getting it correct, does not mean that for all the values it is going to be correct. But of course, at one value, if it is wrong, you can surely eliminate. Is P equal to Q by 2? No. So we eliminated 3 choices. Left out is the answer. So please follow the channel Cat2I'm by Manoj Mahajan. Keep sharing the videos with the aspirants so that they can benefit from the trick shortcuts out here. Let's move to the next question of the day. So this question also is a successive percentage change example out here. So what do I have is again, initial price is P and final is again P. So you have the raise of what? X% out here. And there is a discount if I look over here of Y%. So I'm putting a negative sign over here. And remember, what is the relation between Y and X given? Let's write over here. Y is the difference between X and Y. So what do we have X over here? That is nothing but 2Y. So if you go mathematically, you can use again the successive result over here. So what do we have? The first percentage increase, 2y over here, and a decrease of what? Y%. So let's use a plus b plus ab by 100, and we are going to use again the trick. Just wait for a while. So what do I get is 2y minus y minus 2y square by 100. So this should be nothing but 0 because the value has remained same. So 0% change we require. So what do I get? Y minus y square by 50 equal to 0. So if you look over here, it's a very simple quadratic. So what do I get is 50y minus y square is equal to 0, or we can further write like this. So if I take y common, so I do get y as 0 or y as 50. So if I look over here, there has been some discount given over here. So the value of y should be 50. And that's what we are looking forward to figure out also. So this was the mathematical approach. Let's look the trick shortcut again out here. So what we could do over here is we can look forward to use options. So that would be a really good approach if I do it. And again, the choice is yours. Whatever value you want to assume of P, you can do that. Easy, let's say if I do it 100. Okay. And finally, I want 100. So you can pick the value of your choice. So I'm just showing you that options is the best approach out here. So let's say if I pick up the value of y as 50 from the choice. So the first, there was a x% raise. And what was x double of y? So if y I'm assuming as 50, this would have been what, 100%? So what do I get? 200 over here. Now y was what, 50 I assumed from the choice, so 50% less. So if I do it, 250% less, so I get what, 100. So the assumption is correct. So the answer is option C out here. If the assumption would have not been correct, we would have picked up the other choice and figured out the answers. So I hope you would have loved the option-based approach out here. So change your mindset when you're writing the CAT and the other OMETS over here. So you have to look forward to use options. You have to use the value-based approach also. Now I'll show you one more example out here, which appeared in CAT 2001 way back. But honestly speaking, it's a wonderful question, and a lot of students are going to use maths in this problem, and definitely they're going to get stuck in the exam hall because it is going to take a lot of time. So please change your approach if you still think that every question should be solved with maths. So please change your approach. I'm an engineer. I'm suggesting this to you. So you have to look at the option-based approach, value-based approach. Of course, you have to focus on the trick shortcuts. So just have a look of the story out here. So what the owner of the art shop doing is actually increasing the price by X% and then later on reducing the new price by X%. So what he is calling this is one such up and down cycle, and the price of the painting got decreased by 441. And after a second up and down cycle, the painting was sold for 1944.81. The figures are a bit difficult, especially the selling price out here. So the question is, what is the original price? So I'll show you the maths approach also, and you'll find out really time taking. So of course, we have to come to the logical approach and using options out here. So let's say the price is P. Let me tell you the story over here. X% increase, X% decrease. So the price becomes P minus 441. That's what given over here. Again, X% increase, X% decrease. So the final price is 1944.81. Now you can understand one thing over here. Let's say if I use maths. So what is the percentage change over here? Let's calculate. I'm using again a plus b plus ab by 100. So x minus x square by 100. So I do get minus x square by 100 over here percentage. So minus sign shows that the value got decreased. So the first equation you would actually form like this: x square by 100% of what? P. In terms of value, this should be the difference between P and P minus 441, that is 441. That's equation number 1. Equation 2, again, I can look same percentage change over here. So can I put over here x square by 100% of what? Not of P, this time P minus 441. And don't put 1944.81. It is actually the difference between this value and this value. So what do I get is P minus 441 minus 1944.81. Now this is equation 2. So you can see a very complicated equations we are getting. So let's say from the first, if I remove x squared by 100%, what do I get? P minus 441 over here. This I am replacing. So this is nothing but 441 divided by P. So let me write over here. Correct. So this is what we are getting as of now. And this should be nothing but equal to P minus 441 minus 1944.81. Now, of course, you would be able to make a quadratic in terms of P, and you can get the roots using the basic quadratic concept. But it's such a difficult quadratic. Even using options will be slightly difficult. So try avoid this mathematical approach in question 11 over here, or maybe such kind of questions. We are going to use a logical and the option-based approach. Let's see how. Now, why CAT people have given you such a question, I'll tell you the reason. Because they wanted you to use logic way and the options. So let's look the option-based approach out here. See, one thing is very sure. The final selling price was 1944.81. Now, what is the change over here? 441. Of course, there would be some change over here also. But remember one thing, that you have the same percentage change over here on a higher value P, and you got 441 as a change. Same percentage change on a lower value. So, of course, this change would be less than 441 for sure. So let me look at what could be the possible value of P. So 1944.81 was the final. If you add, let's say 441 plus something less than 441, we are going to look forward. We do not know this value. Let's just add this. We'll actually figure out that what options to be eliminated, right? So what do I get from here is, if you look the calculation out here, I guess 2385 we are able to figure out, right? If I add 441, yes. So 2385.81 plus some more number out here. So one thing is very sure that the answer has to be more than 2385.81 for sure. Can you eliminate the choice number B? Yes. Can you eliminate the choice number D? Look, so we have made a little easier by using the logic out here. And we are left with just two choices. And why they have given a very friendly number out here to do a quick calculation and figure out whether the answer is either option A or option C. So what is the calculation we're going to do? So you have to assume one of the values from the options. So better would be assuming 2500 because the calculation would be a little easier with that. So let's say if P is 2500, P minus 441 would be 2059, and this is already given to us 1944.81. So how to figure out whether the answer is 2500 or 2756.25? Just have a quick calculation that percentage change over here should be same as over here. So in the first part, we have 441 upon 2500, and you don't have to even calculate exactly out here. We can figure out whether it will be same or not. See, if I assume this as approximately as 1945, correct? So difference between these two, I can pick up a middle number, let's say 2000, a friendly one over here. So this is 59 more, okay? And this is what 55 less. Adding these two, we get what? 114. So that's a way we can look forward to get the difference between 2059 and 1945. So this is what I have done. So 114 divided by what? This is on 2059. Now clearly we can see, look, what is 10% of 2500? That is 250. So this calculation, if I do, is surely way above 10%, right? And what is 10% of this? 205. And this is what 114. So surely this calculation is way less than 10%. So this percentage figure and this percentage figure will not be same. So the assumption of price being 2500 is actually wrong. So what is the correct answer? That is option A. So this is the approach you have to learn. And if you always focus on going with equations with the maths, uh, you would be uh, finding it difficult to crack this question in the exam hall within less time. It will take ample amount of time. Even you may get stuck and may not be able to solve also with the equations. So you have to look at the options out here. Let's move to the last question of the successive percentage over here. Now, it's a very interesting problem, and I'm pretty sure that if you look forward to answer on your own, and then you try to check the answer from the video, it may be possible that you uh, get the wrong answer. So do check out the video till the end. So a lot of people have the habit of doing successive every time. So in this question also, they would love to do a plus b plus ab by 100. And using this stuff, they would get what? 56. And that is actually the wrong answer over here. See, I told you in the successive percentage change first class, the theory part, that the result a plus b plus ab by 100 can be applied if you want to find out the percentage change in a quantity which is a product of two or three quantities. Over here, we are not talking about area of the rectangle. If the question would have been, let's say if I remove perimeter and I write area, then the answer would have surely been 56%. So in the area, that is length into breadth, that's a product. Perimeter is not the product. So let's see what answer you're going to get over here. 56 is surely incorrect. So a lot of students would love to mark option B, but that would be wrong once they see the solution. So do check out the video. It's a very uh, wonderful problem. And if you share with aspirants, you'll find out most of them answering option B. Now, how to figure out, go with the basic approach out here. So what is perimeter old? Let me write over here twice length plus breadth. Now, what is perimeter new? If I want to figure out, that is twice 1.3. That's a multiplying factor I would have because the length got increased by 30%. Breadth would be what? Multiplying factor 1.2. Okay. So remember one thing. Let me tell you one thing over here. If this would have been also same, let's say 20%. So don't think of a plus b plus ab by 100 over here. That is not being applicable. I'm just saying that if the both the figures would have been 20% each, what is the percentage increase in the perimeter we are going to get of the rectangle? Remember, length is more than breadth. See, use that same concept out here, what you have done in the previous sessions also. Percentage change is what? Final upon initial minus 1 into 100. So what do I get in that scenario? This will not be 1.3. In that case, it would be 1.2. Just an example. So I'll get back to this same problem in a while. So what do we have? Twice 1.2 L plus 1.2 B divided by what? Twice L plus B. And if I look subtracting 1 from here into 100 if I do it. So 1.2 can be taken common over here. And you'll figure out that everything would cancel out. Only 1.2 would be left out. Minus 1 into 100. So what do I get? 20%. So if length has been increased by 20%, breadth by 20%, what is the percentage increase in the perimeter of the rectangle? That is again 20%. So we'll see that original problem was perimeter increase by what percentage if the length was increased by 30 and breadth by 20%. So let's see how we're going to go about. So we're going to use the same stuff out here and then a super trick shortcut in a while. So can we put this as 1.3? That's a change we should look forward to do it. Okay, now you cannot take 1.2 common. So let me do it. What steps we're going to look over here. Of course, 2 we can surely cancel out, right? So can you write like this? 1.2 L plus 1.2 B plus 0.1 L. If I do it separately, yes, we can do that. Minus 1 into 100. So let's use a basic approach out here. So if we go further, 1.2 common we can take. That would be 1.2 into L plus B. Divide by L plus B would give me what? 1.2. And over here, I would be left with 0.1 L divided by L plus B minus 1 into 100. So one thing is very sure, if I put the calculation, 0.2 into 100 would be what? Let me put it over here, 20%. And what you have over here is 0.1 into 100. If I multiply, that would be 10. Okay. And 10L upon L plus B. So this also will convert into percentage. Now you tell me one thing over here. If L and B would have been equal, right? In that case, this would be nothing but what? If I put L as B, this would come out to be what? 5 exactly. So 20 plus 5 would have been 25%. So a lot of students do mark 25% also. So that is also uh, not correct because length is more than breadth. So you can understand that if L is equal to B, the percentage increase in the perimeter of the rectangle we got is 25%. So if L is more than B, so in that case, this figure would come out to be slightly more than 5% for sure. So it could be even higher, but surely if length is more than breadth, it has to be more than 5% for sure. So when you add more than 5%, so the value would become what? More than 25%. Okay. And 10 is being multiplied. So this would be surely less than 10%. It cannot be 10 also because L upon L plus B is a fraction between 0 and 1. So what I'm just trying to say that the answer would be more than 25% and less than 30%. So the correct answer is option D. A lot of students will not get this correct, I'm pretty sure of. So this value range would be between 5 and 10. So depending on, of course, the values of length and breadth also. One thing we have already taken in this problem that length is more than breadth. So of course it would be more than 5% for sure. And this value can get closer to 10% also. So now if you do it like this, of course, you would find a bit inconvenient in the exam using so much of maths. So let's look at the trick shortcut out here. So next time when you have such kind of problem, one thing is very sure. One is 30% increase, the other is 20% increase over here. If length and breadth would have been same, please understand it would have been simple average of these two numbers. Correct? That is 25%. So this is a trick shortcut I'm telling you over here. Now length is more than breadth and the percentage change in the length is 30%. So the percentage increase would be more than 25% and less than 30%. Now what I mean by this is, let's say if I do the other way around, you'll understand what I'm saying, why I took more than 25. Let's say if this would have been 20 and this would have been 30. Okay, length is more than breadth again. So again, if I go with the trick out here, if I do a simple average out here, if length and breadth would have been same, in that case, it would have been again 25%. But this time, just understand that length is more than breadth, and in the length you are having a 20% increase. So the answer would be less than 25%, but yes, of course, surely more than 20% out there. So I hope you would have understood that in the length, there was a 20% increase, and length is more than breadth. So the shifting would happen towards 20%. So it has to be less than 25% for sure, and more than 20%. So this would have been the answer if the figures would have been length increased by 20% and breadth by 30%. But if I look the original problem, in that case, the answer is between this range, which is option D out here. So keep following us. Do subscribe to the channel. Don't forget. Do join the Cat2IM Telegram information group. Thank you so much.